Alrighty. Back into the depths of our depression. Already ready to go. Open you cup thingy, whatever you are. There we go. Need to get my liquids before we get surrounded by liquids. Alrighty. Let's get into another Salma run. Yeah. Alright, so. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the ESAS Afterparty. Thank you for being here live if you are, or if you're watching the re-upload. I appreciate the watch. We just killed our previous self because we didn't want them to go insane and lose their mind, so we're running down the road of we're gonna murder everything that has the potential to go insane later. Give them a mercy killing pretty much over and over. Now we're gonna take the Now we're gonna take the climber and go down into the abyss. We're ready. Woo! There we go. It's time to go down. Why are there two pathways? I forget, why are there two? Okay, that one's gone. Why are there two here? Nice. Alright. What do we have to do here?
Are we done here?
Yeah.
Activate the climber, please.
Sure thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot we blew up on Catherine like 5 minutes ago in game, like in game time. What are you doing here? Alright, what do I have to do? One. Let's see. Ascend, stop, descend. Alright, is that correct? There's only one of us technically. Let's go!
Take a seat and we'll be off.
I'm sorry I yelled at you, Catherine. I understand the pressure on you right now. Simon doesn't, but I do.
Have we figured out what happens when we die yet? Is that even possible? If there's some kind of afterlife, do you think my place is taken? The real me died like 100 years ago. Is there still room for me? And what about the Simon I killed at Omicron? What do you think, Catherine? Is there a heaven full of redundant copies of the same people? Is there someone up there who called me an imposter? It's dumb luck, right? That I woke up in the right body.
Oh, no, it's not, Simon.
I flipped a coin, and if I had called the wrong side, I'd be rotting away at Omicron. I mean, there's nowhere to know, right? You didn't hit the make sure Simon wakes up in the right body switch, did you? Not that you would know. I mean, he would still claim to be the right Simon. Christ. This is awful. We did an awful fucking thing. And you wouldn't mind? Why would you? How could you know that it's not me, the me that I am, the same that I've always been? Please say something. I don't want to think. Please.
I don't know what to say. I don't want to upset you.
Say anything.
When I was little, I used to climb the stairs all the way to the top of the building. And I can still feel how I had to, tuck my arms so I could push the heavy steel door open. Well, the first time that I dared go up there, I stepped out onto the roof and watched the smog rise and fall over Taipei. I got all the way up to the corner ledge and, I felt the warm wind in my hair and the sun was setting and the streets below were shadowed by the tall buildings. The people pushing through the crowd flowed like paint from an artist's brush. Street food vendors filled the air with aromas of all my favorite foods. For a brief moment, I felt connected to the world in a way that I never had before. It was the most profound feeling of comfort and sense of belonging I could ever hope for. I really never felt the same way again, but I went up to the roof many times after. I'm not religious, but I can see why people would be. The privilege of being makes a strong case, at least every once in a while.
Do you still feel that sense of awe? Even like this?
Things are different, but we're still here.
What's the point of going on? Everyone's gone. All the people still left are digital copies trapped in computers at the bottom of the sea. We'll never be able to rebuild or reclaim what we were.
Are you really so unhappy being what you are, or is this about the man who went for a scan 100 years ago?
Both, I guess. When I was back in Toronto, even the worst case, the darkest futures I could predict, they at least included my previous life somehow. I feel so uprooted. There's nothing here that I recognize, nothing that makes me feel like I belong. Even if we make it to the ARK, would it be any different? I'd still be alone. No friends. No family.
You could make new friends. I'm sure everyone would like to know the time traveler. If not, you still have...
Catherine? Kath? Hello, Catherine.
Shit hath hit
What
the
happened?
fan. Oh man, I love their conversation so much. Just talking about shit. I love interesting things. We're just floating around right now. Oh god, how do we open this? Controls are weird. What do I do?
Hey, I know it's not much, but why have we stopped moving?
The power blacked out for a moment. Think it could be the atmospheric pressure. It's pushing pretty hard, really testing the limits of my suit.
Don't worry, it should hold.
Comforting.
It will hold.
Alright. Do we start back up? Yeah,
Does
okay.
time freeze when you're not powered?
Time feels omitted more than omitted.
What's the difference?
I don't feel like I'm being held back or hindered. And I don't have the opportunity to reflect on the time I'm missing. It's simply missing.
Sounds like sleeping without the dreaming.
Yes, but generally you anticipate when you're about to sleep, and there's a natural continuation since we tend to wake up where we went to sleep. My experience is more like an ever-changing moment that never really seems to find closure.
Sounds kind of like a movie being edited live.
I suppose so. I guess it sounds exciting, but it really keeps me activated to the point of exhaustion.
It's rough.
Could be worse. Could be a time traveler stuck in a body made from black goo.
That'd be the worst.
Oh man, just I love the dialogue in this game. There's so much that there's so much that just works, like the themes and the progression of events and stuff. Hey, dude.
You did it! You did it! I will make preparations.
Thank you. We're gonna take down the WoW. Let's take it down to Pound Town. Gotta fist that fucker. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, good, you're back.
What happened?
Something dropped onto the cage. Knocks you right out.
It spoke to me.
Looked like a man, one of WoW's creatures. It just stared at you for a moment, then threw itself down the abyss.
It said it would make preparations. I don't like the sound of that.
It was very strange. I thought it was gonna kill you for sure. Glad it didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Me 3. But yeah, there's so many moments in this game playing it where I don't want to talk over them, but it's like, I love them talking about the different philosophies in this game and how things work.
An acre of the abyssal plan used by Pathos 2. I expect we'll have to do some walking before we reach Tau.
You haven't been here before?
Not in a way that'll help us.
Right, the other you has been here. We're following your own footsteps, Kat.
When I had footsteps.
You could still be down here somewhere, technically.
Don't remind me, freaks me out. Alright, let's head for Tau and find that ARK.
Alright, but yeah, one thing I was kind of curious about actually on the way down here that I was starting to think about is if we can transfer our consciousnesses like into robots, right? If we can do that, it makes me wonder if there's like a consideration of, you know, if we don't have to have physical bodies anymore, instead of putting us into the ARK, couldn't we technically create like robot versions of ourselves that could go back on land to some capacity? Like, I'm curious of that now. Like, if that would have been a possibility to, like, check out the surface world. Because the surface world, I would assume... I don't remember the exact details of how the surface world was destroyed. I don't know if the atmosphere, like, was completely obliterated by the comet and oxygen. Like, I don't know if the issues were oxygen, or if the surface world was utterly annihilated, like, via destruction, or if it's something else. But I'm just wondering, like... would there be a capacity to, like, would there be a capacity to take all of our collective consciousnesses across everybody at Pathos 2 and saved, like, in the WoW stuff, and like, load them into robots that can, like, go up to the surface and do shit on the surface, you know? There's a lot of questions that I think come from this game that I think are interesting, but other ones that kind of fly in the face of the whole point of it as well. Alright, let's look at this here. So, collected a sample at physical checkups. There was a check. Tau evacuation. Failed. They failed evacuation. Bringing the ARK to Phi. Alan Waldeck remote. What does that last entry mean? I don't understand what it means. What do the numbers mean, Simon? Alright. So how are we gonna do things here?
Tau? Come in, Tau. Please answer, Tau. Nothing. It's dead.
Let's move out. We'll try the next one.
It's being all spooky. Let's see, how many platforms are here? ECR platform, operating cabin, storage, service station, power relay. Okay. Nice. I still think we should strap buzzsaws and other power tools to our limbs so we can create like a mech version of Simon. That'd be pretty fun. Here we go. Warning, fault line activity, strong torrents expected. Yeah, so we got a way to go. There's an observatory on the way. There's another thing along the way as well. I'd like to interact with the different things that we'll uncover as we go. I wonder, can I like plug something in here? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh no.
Jesus, did you see that? Stick to the lamplights. They won't go near them.
I can't, Valglasser. It's important I reach Omicron. Our future depends on it.
Calm down. Let's just follow the path.
If I die, I need you to tell Julia Dahl that the WoW is out of control. She needs to get to Sarang. He'll know what to do.
Raj, you can tell them yourself. We just need to pick up the pace, okay?
Glass! We lost the path! We need to go back!
I know where to go. Come on.
It's over there! The light is over there!
Final push, Raj. Almost there. We just...
It's time for the spooktisms. There's the tube. The tube. Red leads to climber, blue leads to Tau. Here we go. Now we just need to avoid the worm. There it is. Being all wormy and uncomfortable. Woo! Stay in the light. Stay in the light. What's over here? Take a look-see. There's a bunch of stuff just not in here. Here we go. Let's see. Set up lure, dried squid. As well as target frilled shark. Rare shark approached the luminous lure, circled around to eat the dried squid. Unlikely that it frequents this depth, an anomaly. Alright. Let's look at this one. Let's see. Target giant squid, 1200 centimeters. Mantle the size of a man, 170 to 200 centimeters. Estimated length of the whole thing, 10 to 12 meters. Frantic attack tore the marlin apart. As soon as we turned on the lights, it quickly fled the area. Clearly another specimen affected by the leaking structure gel, partially covered in scales, a newly formed bone structure protruding through the mantle. Here we go. Target unknown. Description: the creatures disfigured by the gel are manic and will attack anything. Still hard to determine how WoW has affected their behavior beyond their apparent aggression and affinity with the light. Or with light. The creatures seem to hunt something particular, something not present in the ecosystem. See. Yeah, see, this is funny, right? It's like the humpback whale population died because of the comet, and then it started to go back up after the WoW started doing shit. Same thing with the squid. Unable to load the anglerfish because the anglerfish are spoopy. See, is there anything here to interact with? We are in the spooktism now. Oh no. I think we're done fucked up at this point. Gotta go to the lights. There's weird shit nearby. Stay away. I have whatever this is. Eh. Not doing shit. Doing this on mouse and keyboard is very weird. Controller, you can just do it in a direction and it'll keep moving it that way, but with like a mouse, you have complete direct control, which can cause issues. I forget, do the turrets, do the currents screw things up? Wondering about that now. Oh, there's just a bunch of crap in all these ones. Alright. Good to know. See a base over there. We're running. Made it to a somewhat safe space, I assume. There's not enough power. It's not good. We need the power. What do we have here to listen to?
Tau, can you hear this? Anyone there?
This is Tau. Who is this?
This is Ian Peterson of Theta calling. I got a team with me, and we're about half a kilometer from Tau.
What? How did... You came in the climber?
Listen, we're having a really hard time with this sector. Heavy turbulence is making it difficult to move forward, and the wildlife you got is absolutely rabid.
The storm comes and goes. The instruments show the weather is relatively fair right now. You should move out as soon as possible. Stick to the lights. The critters should leave you alone.
All right, you heard the man. We're moving out, people. Tau, keep the doors unlocked. We're coming in.
Looks like we have power. Ah, here we go. Got a drone to help us navigate. Control. Oh, we get to pick where to go. Alright, I'd like to go to the observatory. Oh, the beacon's offline. Can I pick there? No, I can't. We have one way to go, and it's toward the doom. Thank you for lighting the way, my little friend. Oh shit. It's the evil worm. Evil worm. I do fear the worm. I do fear it. It will crush my body parts. I always found these sea spiders really creepy. See, that light looks different. I don't trust it. Save me, beacons. Vision guy, help me out. Come on. I think I remember this section being a little iffy because on the one hand the atmosphere is great, but the mechanics of actually getting from A to B are kind of boring. It's kind of like just run and keep running. Open sesame. I believe this should be Tau. Let's hope so. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, there we go. We're coming aboard, Captain. Oh, there we go. Level loading in.
Never been happier to be inside. Let's find the ARK.
Give me 1 second. I need to check something real quick. Make sure I'm not having something dumb happen. Oh boy. Make sure I'm doing okay. I always have this anxiety now that like my chat function is broken ever since I screwed it up that one time, so I'm just permanently in a state of anxiety of, did I screw this up? Dive room. Hello. Uh-huh. There was something or someone in there.
Welcome to Tau. What's left of it.
Are you guys alright? What happened here?
We ran out of real food long ago. People have been getting sick. Haven't heard from anyone in months.
No shit, they all think you're dead down here. Some failed evac story circulating at Omicron.
Oh, God.
Listen, son. We're on an important mission, and we need your help to operate the Omega space gun. When it's done, we can all head back up the plateau. But now we need to get moving.
Of course. Head on through to the habitat. We shut off the front section to preserve power.
Alright, see you soon.
Alright, here. Let's look at this. Alright, so suit number 3 is still active. I like how that's like a little thing where it's like, oh, something's running around here. We don't know if it's a friend or foe. It's a nice little tease. Let's see. Last person to use it was Yoshida. Let's see, the WoW apparently used it as well at one point. Alright. Let's start looking through. We got an autosave, so that means there are spookatisms somewhere. See, what are we looking at here? Okay, here's a map of this area. Alright, so we're in the maintenance section. There's the laboratories, and there's the living area. I know the living area is one of the last areas we need to get to. Right. Make sure all these doors are open before we start fucking with shit. Alright, we got a power butthole. That's good. If I remember correctly, I think we have to lead... I think we open this, something comes out of it, and then we have to, like, loop around and come back here. I don't know how close this fucker is, but... Please don't see me. You stay over there, big boy. Oh, does this go to that encounter? Oh, there's a point of no return. Where are we? Living quarters. Alright. I believe this area should be safe. Because we only saw that one suit activated, and it's... But we'll deal with it in time, man. We'll deal with it in time. I gotta look at everything and take in the sights. Move on, Simon. I will. Give me a little time. That's like a... That's another robot creature. And there's another one being weird and freaky. Are you sure about that? I see a lot of dead people.
Can't we do anything for him?
No, we're out of sedatives. If we had a gun, this would be the time to pull it out.
Did not expect it to end like this. Should have jumped the climber back to Omicron.
Without the ARK?
Forget about the ARK.
No, you don't get to say that. It's the only thing left of value. You know that.
Yeah.
Promise you won't leave it behind.
We'll all be dead one day. Then what?
Well, better keep it safe until then. Don't want the wow to take it, swallow it whole.
I'm sorry, Catherine.
It's okay, Ian. Just let it out. Let it all out.
That's the thing. I know Catherine dies in this story. I'm just wondering if this is her body, or... Because we find it later, and it made it sound like it's this body, but we find her body, like, later. That's the part that kind of gets me about it. It's like... I know. I'm trying to absorb information myself. We're kind of on the same page, the WoW and I. Aww. Seeing everybody being like, this is like a really weird sort of, like, if you're like a Star Trek fan, this is a weird sort of combination of the Borg but like the Borg are trying to keep you alive as opposed to take you over and use you for resources. And so, like, can you imagine like trying to die, but the WoW just keeps you living perpetually? It's just freaky. Is that one picture of Catherine?
What the fuck did we do?
Hey, try not to think about it.
My whole life, I've been a good man. We messed up, Sarah.
There.
I should have launched. Taken the chance.
There's time. If Ashkin says we could try again, when things calm down.
You gotta do it, you know? You got to.
Bathroom. Anything neat in here? The WoW is definitely not in the toilet. Let's see. See, where did we come from? I think we came from that way. I don't think we can access Johann Ross's room yet. Dispatch. Okay, impact notes, or post-impact notes, sorry. January 12th, minor structural damage, radio knocked out. January 17th, communications recovered, Omicron and the rest of Pathos 2 are alright. April 3rd, cross-site radio failing. Lumar probes keeps losing the link. Urgent fix needed. Tau can't retrieve the climber until the link is working. April 13th, visited by SSE, Wolchek, Dahl, and Holland. System of bi-weekly visits established until communications. Lumar back at 100%. September 13th, evacuation of Tau ordered. We're all leaving for Omicron. September 15th, swarmed by monsters and no radio. We're fucked. I feel that. Let's see. Which ones are online at this point? Pretty sure all of them are offline. I wonder if we get, like, different things that we call different places. Com logs. Let's see, a bunch of stuff by Herber, then that name I can't pronounce. Bunch of Herber. Yoshida. The last message was from Omicron. Door locks. Here we go. Ah, here we go. Is it that thing again where it's I can't unlock everything? Thanks, Ross. You the best. Alright, can we unlock that as well? Oh, yeah, we can. Exit to Phi space gun. Oh, we're close. Phi status. Access tunnels unstable. Phi proper. Launch site's okay. Mission control okay. Assembler okay. Site fully operational. Sweet. Omega space gun. Flexible barrel. Almost 9,300 meters. Payload max is 10 tons, and speed max is 42,000 kilometers an hour. Alright, so we should have both the infirmary and his room unlocked. So let's check his room out first. Very clean room. More WoW studying. Yeah, so the WoW core is sort of separate from Tau and Phi, but it's sort of along the way. Makes sense given some of the messages we heard about Alpha existing, but being sort of off the books. I like that little thing, whatever it is. Let's take a look at his data pad here. Journal. Let's see, September 13th, 2103. I was hoping to see Omicron today. The evacuation ordered by the people at Theta was a gift, an excuse to leave Alpha and abandon the WoW. As the storm cleared, we were swarmed by monsters that the WoW had facilitated. We were ambushed and forced back towards Tau. Glasser, Kovsky, Coetzee, and I survived. Claire's in the infirmary, but it doesn't look good. November 19th. Coetzee made a run for it to check observation for anything resembling food. Going outside is beyond dangerous. It's like going to buy cigarettes in a hurricane. She came back and she had some crumbs with her. We all knew it was empty. I think she just wanted a chance to die without carrying the responsibility of taking it herself. December 25th. People from the plateau showed up. It was a group of engineers from Theta telling us that they wanted to use the Omega space gun to launch something called the ARK. It's an artificial world that carries brain scans made from people working at Pathos 2. The idea is silly but endearing. We all agreed to do a scan so we could take part in this afterlife. It's kind of funny that on Christmas they get a gift of salvation, in a way. Well, the day after. Some of the engineers returned from Phi. Apparently they postponed the ARK launch. They were all in a very foul mood and difficult to get any straight answers from. Except for one very important thing. They all wished to remain at Tau to figure this ARK business out, but they had scheduled for the climber to pick them up tomorrow. Someone would need to catch that climber to alert Omicron to what was happening. Luckily, Glasser and I were able to take on this mission. I will finally get to warn Dahl and Sarang about the critical situation at Site Alpha. And it seems like he never did.
The pattern has stopped evolving. The WoW has managed to find balance. I convinced SSE Volcheck to turn off all external control systems, making the WoW our de facto caretaker. So far, it's exceeding expectations. Since the comet crashed a few days ago, January 12th, the WoW has dropped to a low energy state. It hasn't abandoned its duties. It's keeping climate and life support going, but it's been simplifying the pattern, redefining its protocol. The WoW has started to grow physically. It's not just the core chamber. All around Pathos 2, structure gel is bursting through the pipes and bleeding through walls. I don't know what WoW could possibly stand to gain from this, but I assume it is intentional. The heart of WoW has claimed such a large part of the core chamber that there can no longer be any question to its heightened awareness. Not only does its expansion suggest an unexpected understanding of space, but also its own physical manifestation within the world. The WoW is reaching out to every machine, every life form, to manipulate, to control. It's trying to help save its creators from all this, just like the protocol demands. But really, what is good enough? Where is the line drawn for what is human and what is not? Would walking corpses do? Would a group of machines thinking they're human be acceptable? We can't trust a machine to know, to understand what it means to be. We have to terminate the WoW project. It can be done. I just need to get some help from Omicron.
We saw how that went. Bring a deck of cards with us, distract a creature with it. Alright, I'm pretty sure the only place we have left is the infirmary at this point. Hello.
You're different. Go ahead. Make yourself at home.
Immediately interact with everything in the room.
Can I help you with anything?
I want to look at stuff, so give me a second to snoop.
Don't mind me.
Oh, I can just sit down here.
Nice suit. Used to have one just like it.
You know, let's interact with her and then go through the room.
Are you human?
Sarah Lindwall. Payload technician at your service. A rare sight, am I right?
I'd say so. You're the first normal living human I've seen.
There's not many left down here. Most of them are up on the plateau.
You mean at Omicron?
Yeah.
There's no one alive at Omicron.
You've been there?
I've been all over. The power plant at Upsilon, the ruins of Lambda, the abandoned Delta, Theta.
You've been to Theta?
There's not a lot left of Pathos 2.
And, I'm the only living person you've met? You mean I'm the last living human on the planet?
I'm sorry.
Who are you again?
Simon Jarrett.
Stationed out?
Nowhere. I used to work in a bookshop in Toronto. Long story.
Then what the hell are you doing here?
I'm trying to find the ARK.
Why would you? How do you know about that?
I've heard it's the last hope for mankind.
Damn right it is. Now what do you want with it?
Take it to the Gunnet Phi. Launch it into space.
That was the plan, all right. I've been guarding it ever since we brought it back to Tau. Just couldn't bring myself to let go. To tell you the truth, I don't have the strength to argue. And I certainly don't have the time to wait for the next sentient thing shuffling through here. Go ahead. Take it.
Thank you. Can I get you anything? Do anything for you?
You could kill me.
Good one.
I still can't believe I'm the last one. It's crazy. If I knew you'd come, I would have cleaned this place up a little bit. I'm glad you came by. Good to get this over with.
A lot of pictures of nature here. Probably things that she missed from the surface before the comet hit and everything fell apart.
Be my guest. I got no secrets worth keeping.
There's a picture of Catherine, but it's all screwed up. It's kind of interesting how we get pictures of Catherine slowly becoming more and more sort of disheveled as we find pictures of her in the game. So it's those little touches that make everything feel very planned and deliberate. Emergency food. A thorough look at what common chemicals and compounds found at Pathos 2 could keep you alive in emergency situations. Last accessed by Lindwall. Nutrition through the veins. A manual on how to keep unconscious or comatose colleagues fed through intravenous drip. Last accessed by Sarah Lindwall. Alterations in post-construction alterations. See, methods on how to make room for additional payload after the casing has been constructed and left Delta. Catherine Chun.
You serious about me killing you?
No, I'd love to hang around here until I dry up to the size of a raisin. Simon, this fucking sucks. I don't want to live like this.
Shouldn't we be doing something to keep you alive?
Why?
You're the last human. I just find it disrespectful to our entire history not to fight this. Sure, we have the ARK, but you're the real deal.
Thanks. That's probably the best compliment I've ever got. But the truth is that the ARK is all we have. We'll have to accept second best, you know?
None of this feels right.
Simon, I want to die.
Sarah.
Just think about it. Knock it out of the park.
Alright.
Don't let me down.
Alright, just want to make sure we got all that stuff.
Please don't leave me like this.
Thanks for all your help, Lindwall. May humanity rest in peace.
Would you stay with me, please?
Sure.
It won't be long now. Just... please, just stay. What a crazy thing this was. Life. At least I won't have to turn 30. Hooray! Wish I could have died at home with my friends. You ever been to Greenland? It's very beautiful. Well, at least when you get out of the city. Nanook is busy, and yes, there's like 12 million people trying to get around, but it's a great place. Or rather, it was a great place before the comet ended it all. You know what? I prefer it this way. I liked Pathos. Liked my colleagues. Ian, Nick, Jasper, even Catherine. People thought she was weird because she was quiet, but she was cool. Simon, you still there?
I'm here, Sarah.
Don't let him die, okay? Send them out there. To the stars.
The black box is inactive. Probably found a way to switch it off.
We'll make good use of this. I promise. See, the ARK was running, so I wonder what that entails, like with the ARK running. Is the simulation already, like, I assume the simulation's already begun and it's on day 312 of it all. But again, I'm not quite sure exactly how you, like if they started running it immediately and this is just sort of where we're at. Like ever since the scans began, like do the scans begin in stasis and they only start up when, you know, do they only start up whenever, I don't know. Just I have questions about like when the WoW officially started the simulation and what instigated the beginning of that. Not really sure what the deal with that was, but okay. Alright, let's get this bad boy loaded up and ready here. That's not good. Here we go. Alright. Waiting for cargo. User Catherine Chun config. Doesn't do anything. Alright. Carry it gently. Machine that will probably bash it around. Slide mechanism malfunction. Oh no. Alright, are we good? Unable to equalize pressure. How do we do? What do we do? Did that fix the issue? I hope so. Alright. The ARK looks okay. Alright, let's get out of here. That's not good. I forget how we make the decision to go. Like, I forget when this thing leaves us and then we're left behind. No, I feel like it's up here. Yeah, there we go. Is there a hole? I forget this. How do we do this? How do we do this? Ah, here we go. Time for hole. Yeah, this is it. This is probably like a tunnel that leads back to the WoW. Back to Alpha. It's kind of a neat visual sort of thing here where you got all the tentacles sort of writhing from, like, coming from within to the outside. It's cool, like, visual sort of thing that I like. Now let's go through here, see what we got going on. I wonder if this was like an accidental sort of thing to create this environment, or if the WoW just, like, I don't know. Like, I wonder if this was like an accident the WoW was trying to make this place, like, habitable for itself by having all the goop and stuff everywhere. But then you have all this other sort of shit in the way. I'm able to get over here for some reason. Is that intentional? I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to deal with a creature.
Tell me what you want.
I need you to stop the WoW.
What? How?
The enslaved protein sloshing around your suit is the noose from which the WoW will hang itself.
What are you talking about?
As soon as I came to Omicron, I tried to tell them to make the toxin that would make the WoW wither, but they didn't understand. They put it inside the cabinet, and it was so infuriating. They needed to take it to Alpha, the fountainhead of the misery we created. And then the girl, she figured it out. She was going to take care of it, but the WoW shrieked. They all died. You took the gel from the cabinet and made yourself into a venomous snake.
You're saying this toxin inside of me can kill the WoW altogether?
You are the snake, Simon. Now strike at the heart.
Don't step on snake. That's all I could think of during that whole conversation. Is just, I'm a sneaky, slippery snake. Wow, core isolation laboratory. This is the one thing, right? Like it's hard to predict like how long a player will take to get from A to B, so sometimes they put dialogue there, but you don't want to miss dialogue, so sometimes I just have to stop because some games are really incompetent about how they place dialogue versus the triggers for triggering new dialogue. And it's like, I want to be careful. I don't want to miss things.
What the hell is that?
The heart. It controls all the structure gel on Pathos 2. All you need to do is poison the imprint, and the heart will unwillingly spread it across Pathos 2, killing it. Feed it, Simon. Push your arm into the heart. Come on, do it.
I remember that you have an option to like not do this, but I forget what happens if you don't do it. But we're here, and we need to kill this fucker because it keeps getting in the way. Fuck her up, Buttercup.
Please, I did what you wanted.
You did good, Simon. But you can't leave. The only way to make sure the WoW stays dead is to destroy the only one who's immune to the new pattern. Don't worry. I'll make it quick.
Oh, God!
Okay, we need to get the fuck out now. Old Worm Boy's about to come have a whatchamacallit. Worm Boys are coming. I know it's coming. Run, swim, propel forward, away from danger, whatever that ends up meaning. Run, get to cover. Oh, shit. It's email! Where are you? There you are. Making a break for it. Woo! Spooktism, go away. I'm Simon something Jared. You won't take me alive or dead or whatever this counts as. Silly worm. Fuck you, worm. Fuck you. I want to break free. Where are you crazy penis? There you are. Being all weird and wormy. Freaky wormy. Basically there. We're basically there. Open the door. Let your boy in. Let your boy in. Fuck you. Alright, I'm trying to think. What do we have left to do? Because we're at Omega at this point. So we got what we need. We just need to recover the ARK, get it set up, make sure the space gun works, and then launch it. I forget if there's actually any enemy encounters after this.
To be fine, right? Hope the ARK made it here in one piece.
That's the thing. Yeah, like we've killed the WoW at this point, so I don't think any creatures will continue to exist? Question mark? I don't know. I can't remember. Here we are. A lot of shit to look around at, but not while we've got blurry vision. Catherine, come back.
Chris, what the hell happened to your arm?
It's complicated. I just need to know one thing. I'll have both my arms in the ARK, right?
Yes, of course. Are you okay, though? Can you do stuff?
Yeah. Let's just get this over with.
Did you find the ARK?
I did, but I kind of lost it on my way here on an automated tram thing headed to Phi. So it should be around somewhere.
That's great. Let's go get it. All right. Phi is up and running.
It's the weird thing, right? Like the game is super blurry, but not in like the menu. I don't know what triggers that.
Did you find out what happened to the ARK team?
Not really. For some reason, they didn't go through with the launch, so they took the ARK back to Tau.
I hope everything's okay with the space gun.
Yeah, I doubt I'll be able to repair one of those.
I like how we're just casually not going to mention that we killed the WoW. Alright, so... storage is over there, so we need to figure out how to get over there. Seems pretty close.
A satellite is loaded into a shell. The shell is accelerated by electromagnets along the barrel. Enough momentum to escape Earth's gravity is gained before ingression. Reaching space, the satellite will shed the shell and unfold. Onboard thrusters settle the satellite into an orbit.
That's our goal. see. Requires manual offload. Yeah, it should be in the cargo bay. Alright, staff activity. Let's see, incoming. All these people. Outgoing, 2 are missing. Let's see. Herber and Catherine are not amongst this list. Peterson, Lindwall, Vashkin, and Hill. Yeah, they all went back, and that's what happened. Activity. Unsigned R. Herber visit. Launching the ARK, one last visit. Alright, so Herber returned at some point, so there might actually still be a thing here. Alright. Blah, 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 blah. Mission completed, mission completed. Mission completed, mission completed, mission completed, mission completed. Alright. After 10 years of impeccable operation, the Omega Space Gun will shut down, but it took an apocalypse to be made redundant. Vic Auclair. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Alright, so...
This feels like the longest day of my life. It's just been a day.
I have no idea. Our time together is a confusing patchwork of moments to me.
What time is it then? What day?
It's May 11th, 2104, 3:30 a.m., but I don't remember when we started.
That's freaky. Alright, let's... loading dock. Where does this go? Is this where we need to go?
You know, I woke up in my bed today. It just happens to have happened 100 years ago.
Sounds like a riddle.
It does. I woke up in my bed today, 100 years ago. Who am I? Who am I?
I don't know what it is, but the game always gets really blurry during this section. I'm not sure if it's like a texture issue or if there's like some setting I have on that fucks with me. I don't remember a lot of shit.
It's crazy to think where I am. Not only is this the future, it's in the middle of the sea. I know nothing of this time or what the world looks like.
Not much to brag about now. Before the comet, I guess it was okay.
Yeah. Better not oversell it. Might change my mind about the ARK.
You seriously not gonna tell me what happened to your arm?
I had to make a quick stop at Site Alpha to help kill the WoW.
What? How? Why?
Stop it from torturing the memory of humanity.
Okay, let's just get back to work.
What will you do when you get into the ARK? What's the first thing?
Make sure the ARK is safe, stabilize flight path, activate solar panels.
Well, what's the first human thing you're gonna do?
Oh. Watch the clouds roll by? Does that count?
I'd say so.
Now we get the big reveal that real Catherine didn't make it.
Are you suggesting we keep it down here? Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose? Eternity among the stars, remember?
The people inside the ARK won't know the difference. We can just keep it down here, and we don't have to risk the ARK being shot through 5,000 meters of broken barrel, and then push through another 100,000 meters of a dust-filled atmosphere.
Will the casing stand all that pressure?
Well, the odds aren't great.
Catherine, say something.
I don't care what you think. I'm launching it.
No need to be like that. Let's just hang on to it for a while and think about it. We can launch it later.
No, that wasn't the deal. We made it to save them. To launch it. Out there, it's hope. Down here, it's a fucking terrarium waiting to die with the rest of us.
Come on, Catherine. It's not asking much. Let's just think about it before we risk the only hope humanity has to survive this hell.
No, we launch it today. This is my project, my ARK.
It's bigger than that. Don't you get it? It's not for you to decide. We're talking about the fate of mankind.
Get away from the ARK! I'm taking it.
No, you're not.
I'm not gonna let you ruin this.
Stop it!
Guys, calm down!
Get away from me! No!
What the fuck did you do?
It was an accident.
Catherine, talk to me. Catherine.
God. Catherine,
Did you say something?
it's you. You had an accident.
What are you... Oh. You mean Catherine. Don't worry, it's better this way.
I think I found the assembly space.
What do you see?
It's like a huge open shell, a bullet ready to be loaded.
That's great. All prepared for the ARK.
Right. I'll go pick it up.
How did she die?
You got into a fight with your colleagues. They didn't want to risk launching the ARK. Thought it might not make it through the atmosphere.
They killed me?
I'm sure it was an accident. They were just trying to stop you from launching.
How could they kill me?
Catherine,
I know I'm not an easy person to like. I just thought they trusted me.
come on. Don't do this to yourself.
We have a health station here. Why do we have a health station here?
Did you have friends in Toronto, Simon? Real friends?
There was some. Jesse, Sean, Kevin.
I always wanted a friend. Like a real one. Someone you'd never hold back with.
I'll be your friend.
Oh, pity friendship? Now I feel even worse.
It's not pity friendship. I mean, we're basically all that we know at this point.
Do you think the ARK will make it through the atmosphere and into space?
It almost doesn't matter anymore. We just need to try. If we burn, we burn. If we're lucky, we just gave humanity a new chance, a whole new era. With the ARK on Earth, maybe we have a few decades of power to keep it running. In space, we have thousands of years.
Still, one hell of a gamble, though.
This was never about certainty. It's about hope.
I'm afraid to interact with things because I feel like they'll talk as soon as I do something. It hurts. Oh, I forget if something actually spawns or not, but let's see what happens. Now, I believe this is the one we need to open. I forget if we need to take that away again as well.
Here it is. We got the ARK back.
Good job, Simon. Take it to the assembly space and load the bullet.
Alright, can I take that back? Can I close it? Guess I can only pick up one thing at a time. I was getting ready to say just put it in your pocket, but it's like, I don't even know if I have pockets in this suit. Alright, where... Yeah, loading bay's over here. Okay. Oh, it's nice that we're almost done with this game, because I've had a good time going through the story again. It's going to be nice to wrap this up. I keep expecting something to appear. Alright. I believe we plug it in. Yeah, over here. Here we go. Nice. Payload detected. True.
Is that it?
I'm really not that familiar with guns of any size. Oh, here we go. All systems say go.
Lock and load.
Combat up and we'll head out to the gun.
Nice. Alright, where... There's the way up. Okay. I like how they bothered to animate, like, his arm sort of trying to, like, climb the arm when you are missing a hand. I appreciate that little detail. It helps with immersion. I don't know why my voice cracked, but here we are. I can't handle the truth. Alright.
Now what?
Now we just need to get the shell into the gun and then, kaboom.
Aren't you forgetting something? How are you gonna get us on board the ARK? Don't we need to make another scan?
Oh, don't you worry. You don't operate something like the Omega space gun with your bare hands.
You mean it's a pilot seat? Like back at Omicron?
Yes, and we can use it to transfer you to the ARK while operating the gun. 2 birds and all that. Now, take the Omnitool and plug it in next to the seat and I'll guide you through the final steps.
It's like this all began in the pilot seat and it's all gonna end in one. The more I think about Soma's endings, the more I really enjoy them. I mean, it technically has 2 endings within the same ending, which is kind of weird. It's like you finally get to see both versions. Like I think the thing about Soma's ending that's sort of unique is that it punctuates. I'll say it after the loud part's over. But yeah, basically the thing I was going to say was, it's interesting in this game how each version of Simon kind of goes through a different process when it comes to the transfer of oneself into something else, right? Because you basically have 4 Simons by the end of the game, right? I want to rant about this before we go outside. Like, you basically have 4 Simons in the game. You have Simon 1, that was the real human. You have Simon 2, which woke up in Pathos 2. And then Simon 3 when we transferred into the deep dive suit. And then version 4 is going to be the one on the ARK, right? So each time that we have that copy, right? Because it's not a transfer, but it's like that copy, right? Each time that we have that, the context of what we see is different, right? The first scan is an immediate, we just wake up in a new environment. We still think we're Simon, right? The second one, we actually have to, like when we do the first one, it's immediate. We have no idea what's going on. We have no idea why things are happening the way they are. We don't understand the mechanics of how it works, right? So that first transfer, it feels like we just close our eyes and open them again. The second time that we deal with that copy and paste, we actually have to deal with that when we go from one suit to the heavy dive suit, right? And we hear that other Simon, like, questioning why he's not in the other body when he technically is in the other body, and we're in, like, version 3, right? And then, like, at the end of the game, we get a proper sort of acknowledgement of what's going on. It's like the game has sort of that narrative of Simon not understanding, purposely not understanding, not trying to think about the concept that when you do that copy, one of you moves on, one of you progresses down this story, the other just gets stuck, and has their own story. the stories diverge at that point. It's gonna, and it's sort of the recurring theme throughout the game that Simon is not willing to comprehend the fact that there is a version of himself that he left behind. And each time his reaction gets worse and worse and worse because he just keeps denying how this system works. And I think this ending that we're going to get to here is a perfect encapsulation of sort of his denial and sort of how that feeds into the ending that happens, right? Where you have sort of the, you have him, we do get on the Ark, but at the same time, we're left behind as well. And it's an interesting discussion to think of, like, how each character would deal with that, right? Like, I think Catherine would take solace in the fact that, that the Ark made it to space, right? Like, if she didn't short circuit in the next scene we're going to see, like, her going in, I feel like she'd be glad that we went to space. I feel like we'd be really, like, she'd be very positive about it. Simon, on the other hand, would be clearly fucked up about it and be, like, very pissed off about it. But I feel like she would have to convince him of the way the system works, right? And Simon's, the ending is sort of tragic in the way that it is, where Simon just refuses to understand. And in the last moments, of him freaking out about something he should totally understand at this point, that's the thing that causes Catherine to short circuit and basically die. And then we get Simon just being alone down, like Simon 3 is left alone down here with no real way to end his continuity, besides like just running outside and just losing power, right? Which we don't know how long that takes. So there are so many interesting questions of what would happen next, sort of a thing that comes up during the parts of this ending. I wanted to kind of get this rant out of the way before the endings happen, because I kind of want to enjoy the endings as they are, just because I really like Soma's story and I really like the ending.
Oh, I'll never get used to that.
Guess you won't have to. Not after this is over.
Right. Have a seat.
You can also tell in her voice there's that little bit of like, I'm holding something back. Oh man, here we go. We're doing it. We're doing it.
As good as it's gonna get.
Okay, I'll activate the seat. You should be able to use the machines to load the bullet you assembled.
How do you operate this thing?
Don't know, I never tried this one. But pilot seats are notoriously easy to use, so it shouldn't be a problem.
There we go.
Okay, ready when you are. Just hit the button and we're off.
But we need to transfer our minds to the Ark.
We also need to make sure it launches at all, so I tied them to a single switch. Just push the button and we're off.
Here we go.
Here we go. No turning back.
Thank you, Simon.
Don't mention it.
It's an amazing thing you did. And I want you to know I appreciate it.
Oh, she's laying it on, being like, thanks, just trying to help ease him into the realization that he'll have to confront.
20 seconds.
What's the matter with the upload?
Just give it a second.
Thought you guys would have better bandwidth in the future.
10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6.
You gotta be kidding me!
5, 4, 3,
Come on, load!
2.
Yes! Fuck yeah, we made it! Woo!
And there it goes.
still here. I'm still here. Catherine? Catherine?
I'm here.
What the hell happened? What went wrong?
Nothing. They're out there, among the stars. We're here.
No. We were getting on the ARK. I saw it. It finished loading just before it launched.
Yeah, I saw.
Then why are we still here?
Simon, I can't keep telling you how it works. You won't listen. You know why we're here. You were copied onto the ARK. You just didn't carry over. You lost the coin toss. We both did. Just like Simon at Omicron. Just like the man who died in Toronto 100 years ago.
No, this is bullshit. We came all this way. We launched the ARK.
I know it sucks, but our copies are up there. Catherine and Simon are both safe on the ARK. Be happy for them.
Are you crazy? We're gonna die down here with those fuckers living at large on a spaceship. They're not us. They're not us.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Simon. I'm proud of what we did. We made sure that something of the hundreds of thousands of years of human history survives, that something lives on.
Oh, fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck you. Fuck you, Catherine. You lied. And I believed in you. I trusted you. You said we're getting on the fucking ARK.
We are on the ARK, you idiot. I didn't lie. I can't be responsible for your goddamn ignorance. You
fuck! Catherine? Please don't leave me alone. Catherine? Catherine?
That's exactly why I end every, conscious person I find in the game. Because eventually, my thought process is that every person who is inhabiting some robo-suit or something in the game, up to this point, will inhabit that thing, and they will eventually figure out that they're trapped. They will eventually figure out that they are the one that is not on the ARK. They're in a false reality that they can't hope to live effectively in, and that's it. Right? This is kind of the biggest thing. This is part of the reason why I love Soma's sort of overarching, like I was talking about earlier, about the sort of copy and paste nature of sort of how our different versions of ourselves work, right? Having the entire game be sort of built around these three major moments where you have Simon transferring from the real Simon to the first suit, and he jumps into Pathos 2 into the situation, then jumping from Pathos, that suit version, into the dive suit version, and him having to deal with the fact that, now he's aware of how it works, but he doesn't really want to accept it, so he just he has the option to turn that other Simon off. Now he's in a state where he cannot turn himself off, right? Oh, Mick Gordon worked on the music for the trailer. That's kind of cool. All hail Mick. But yeah, so anyway, the thing that I love about this game is how it slowly amps up that point that you get throughout the game, and upon replaying it, you can see the little details that lead up to each point, and sort of how Simon, just his ignorance sort of grows as well as his knowledge grows throughout the game, right? Like in the beginning, he is completely ignorant to what's going on during the first copy and paste, right? But in the second copy and paste, he's aware of it after the second Simon starts, saying, hey, stuff didn't work, blah, 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 but then he realizes we have two Simons now. And then he has to deal with that, as we sort of, he has to deal with that as he moves up to the space gun and we launch the ARK. And then this is him breaking and realizing that, this whole time, you don't. There's always. This is not a coin toss of which one. This is not a coin toss so much as there is always a guaranteed loser and there is always a guaranteed winner. Someone always survives, and someone is always left behind. And I think that's sort of part of the interesting part of this whole story, is that idea of your consciousness being copied. But there's always a part of you that lingers in the past and is sort of stuck in that situation, as opposed to you know, this sort of paradise that's been designed for us to experience as sort of copies of ourselves, you know. And maybe this version of Simon will never have to come to terms with the fact that all this is going on, but Catherine knew the entire time how this works. And, you know, I think the most interesting question isn't even really how humanity survives on the satellite in space. It's more like, what happens to those previous versions of ourselves? I think more interesting questions come from what happens to the previous versions of ourselves if we don't do A or B, right? As opposed to these versions that always progress to this next stage of existence, right? And I think that just provides so many interesting questions between, you know, what would have happened to Catherine and, you know, what would have happened to Catherine and, I keep wanting to say Jason. No, it's Simon. Like it's such an interesting question to think of what would happen to them if they, like, what would happen to, like, kind of how it was an interesting situation to see the original Simon, how he dealt with his diagnosis and how he was going to die, right? And his kind of acceptance of it. Then you have, well, now I just realized there's an interesting inverse to the Simon that progresses and the Simon that doesn't each time we make the copy, right? Because Simon 1, after the copy, he carries on with his life feeling rejuvenated about life, but then when he has to confront that he is going to die, he kind of accepts it as his purpose has become something greater, right? Then you have the Simon 2, after his copy into Simon 3, Simon 2 is sort of questioning, did something go wrong? He's just sort of in this neutral state of, like, what's going on? And then we have the option to let him continue to exist or turn himself off to delete that save, pretty much, right? And then when Simon 3 transfers over or copies and pastes, but doesn't, like, but then realizes that, oh, he's the one that's left behind, we get that perspective for the first time in the game, and we get him directly freaking out over it as he's firmly in denial over what happens and hates the fact that this is what he's sort of doomed to, right? But on the inverse, you have this sort of joyous progression as it goes on, right? That it sort of starts in fear, right? Like Simon 2 begins with fear, not understanding what's going on. Simon 3 begins with apprehension of what happened with the Simons, but he's prepared to move on and work towards the ARK going into space. And then Simon 4, this one, in the ARK, makes it to that paradise. And so there's that weird juxtaposition between each version of Simon at each point during the copy and paste periods, or copy and paste sort of checkpoints, right? It's just there's so much to talk about in terms of what happens, like, after each copy and paste, right? You know, like, what would have happened to Simon 2 if we left him alone and alive and, like, functioning, right? Like, what would he do? Because he can't progress because there's no dive suits left. So what would he do? Would he go back? Would he just give up and delete himself? Like, would he continue to survive and thrive and just try to power himself somehow? Would the WoW eventually, like, suck him up and absorb him or something? Would he try to make contact with us and do something? You know, would he try to go to the surface? Like, what would he do? Right? He's a robot body, right? He doesn't need oxygen. He doesn't need food. He just needs power, right? So would he try to construct something down there where he could exist on his own, you know? Like, would he try to make peace with the other machines or something? Would he try to join the WoW and help it understand humanity in some way? You know, like, there are all these questions of what would that Simon do, right? And now we think about, like, Simon 3 being left down there with Catherine, right? If Catherine and Simon didn't have that sort of short circuit moment, what would the two of them do when they're down there, right? Like, would Simon would probably have to get over the fact that, you know, they're stuck there, but they launched the ARK, they continued. He'd have to find solace in that somehow, right? And if Catherine didn't short circuit, what would the two of them do? Would they willingly shut themselves off because the goal's completed, they have nothing really to do besides, you know, just try to keep their digital existence going? You know, would they try to transfer Catherine into a body of her own so she could have her own sort of existence? You know, or would there be a thing, right, where they take Simon and then copy her from the Omni tool into the body of Simon 2, and then they both just kind of hang out forever in the ocean? Like, it's interesting to talk about, like, what happens. But anyway, like I've been talking and talking and talking and ranting, so let's go through this questionnaire once more. Calibration Survey, Volume 3. If you are reading this, you have successfully entered the ARK. This survey is designed to give the developers a better understanding of your subjective experience and how to improve your well-being. Please continue with the survey. How would you describe your physical condition? I guess in this state, I would say I would feel normal, but there is a part of me that feels like you would be invigorated because you were not feeling like yourself because you look down, you see a robot the whole time. So this probably feels like a new life in a way. You know, so you'd feel like a new you. How would you describe your mental condition? I feel like in this version you would feel normal because you went through everything you went through, but you're here. So you feel like you've returned to the present, given the environment and the way the simulation is said to work, where it sort of simulates everything that you would experience as a person in this environment, you know? How would you describe your senses? I feel like it would be number 2, just because, again, you after not having some senses, but now you're in a simulation that has, like, the power to make those senses more functional, I feel like you'd be more aware of them this time around after everything Simon's gone through. How would you describe the sensation of your new condition? I mean, I would say it's pleasant at this point, just because it is pleasant and we know we did it, so we can exist for a long time. Given the fact that we're probably going to be immortal and we'll eventually have to deal with power, like, decreasing at some point eventually. I don't know if there's, like, a end point for how long the satellite will exist in space before it either falls apart or it gets destroyed by something. I don't know, but either way, I imagine that it would be pleasant up until that point. So, I don't know. I feel like it would be pleasant for now, but when that realization of eventual death comes, I imagine it would be disheartening, but given how much time we're going to have to chill out here, this is basically paradise, so I'd say it's pleasant. Are you troubled by the fact that you are no longer strictly human? I'd say somewhat, just because... Actually, now I'm kind of torn. I'd say somewhat because I would feel like we lost that human kind of element of, you know, like, what you can truly experience in the human form as a human, right? Not as a consciousness of a human. So I'd probably say I mourn my previous existence. Alright, how do you perceive your new existence? It's a direct continuation, like a new chapter. It's like being born all over again. It's something completely different and has nothing to do. I'd probably say it's like a new chapter, because it is different from what happened before, right? Like this, I'm trying to think of it from this Simon's perspective, right? So from this Simon's perspective, he kind of has his human life, right? And then he has his entire robot existence from waking up in Pathos 2 to copying over to the ARK. And then this version of him is sort of going back to humanity in a better world, so to speak, in sort of giant air quotes. So I imagine this would be like a new chapter rather than a continuation, and I wouldn't consider it being born again in a way, because, you know, we kind of went through all of this stuff, and we should understand the concepts of how this works at this point. Do you think this new existence will be a life worth living? I would say yes, with less meaning, just because we don't really create any tangible thing in the real world, right? You know, and I don't think we have any capabilities to do what the WoW does and create growths and things that will do shit for us. So I imagine this will be a yes, but with less meaning. It's like, we'll enjoy this. It's basically, you'll enjoy the afterlife and this simulation until we run out of power, whenever that comes. Now, I imagine there might be an element of this where you can just sort of end your own program. Like, not the WoW itself, but you can kind of commit suicide at some point if you just can't handle it. So maybe that's a way out, but I would say that this would be a life worth living in this simulation until it goes broke. But it is sort of a thing where, you know, once this goes broke, that's it. There's no continuity after that. Everyone in the ARK will stay in the ARK, no matter if we create new human, like, AI hybrids in the future, you know. And this is the weird thing too, is like thinking about this as a parent, it just makes you think of, like, imagine if, imagine, like, I imagine my son, right? And I imagine my son, the way he is, the way he interacts with me and the world around us, right? And I imagine, like, imagine trying to copy that behavior as a computer and as a computer program that feels real, looks real, acts real, but the baseline of it is not real. That kind of thing, like, fucks with me thinking about. And it's a weird thing in this way too, because this game makes me treasure life in a more sort of tangible, physical way. And it's just knowing that simulations are coming in the near future, right? Like proper simulations, with the AI and everything and the way technology's going, we're eventually going to reach that point where it is kind of a simulation of some degree, right? Whether it's like the Matrix, where we're just fleshy beings being kept alive in a simulation, or whether it's like this, where we go completely digital. There is that sort of thing where I feel like I would miss that physical nature of being human, where you can, even though you feel like you feel it, but you don't really feel it, because it's fake. And it's like, that'd be hard, to think about, like every time I pick up my son and I hold him and I see him smiling at me and I feel his little head like rest on my shoulder. Having to think about that being fake would just depress the shit out of me. And so it's weird. But again, it's like one of those things where, like, this existence would be fun. I feel like it would be fun, but there would be less meaning because we would lack those sort of interactions with things that we subconsciously know they aren't real, but we treat them as real for our own sort of sanity. But the truth is there. And whether we decide to accept it or not is sort of up to each individual. I'm going hoarse talking about this. Ugh. Would you rather be removed from the project and accept death? I'm going to say maybe. That's a hard maybe. I don't think you can say yes or no at this point. I think you should always keep the door open. Not necessarily in terms of just suicide, but in terms of just being like, if I want out, I want to know the option is there. Alright, so let's wrap this bad boy up. It's very peaceful. This makes me want to go on a walk in the woods. Ironically, it makes me want to play Skyrim. It makes me want to play Skyrim and just chill out in Riverwood or one of the little villages that has a river. There we are.
Catherine?
That is our paradise.
I can't believe we actually made it.
Well, we did.
I'm so relieved.
It's okay, Simon. Everything's all right now.
This is part of the reason I love this ending, is because you get to see kind of both. You get to see three different perspectives, right? You get the perspective of those trapped in the past that cannot move forward. You see you see the view of those who can move forward and enjoy the existence that they will have, and then you see the reality of the situation that hit mankind, right? Like just the earth scorched and just doomed. But this little vessel of hope floating in space, running off of solar power for thousands of years, is sort of the best shot we got. And like Lindwall said, this is second best, but it's better than nothing, And just thinking about that is... I fucking love this game. Ironically enough, I feel like this game... It's one of those things where I've played the game in both the regular mode with the enemies and in the safe mode where it's more heavy on the story. And I feel like the game actually is better in the safe mode. It's one of those weird times where I feel like the game is better where you get to see the monsters, but you don't actually have to deal with them mechanically. Because knowing that there are sort of recopied versions of life that's gone insane or has been fucked up for whatever reason, I feel like that kind of drags the game down and gets in the way of the story being what it is, right? Like I feel like the mechanics of the monsters and the horror of it, like the horror with the enemies, I feel like that does kind of detract from the game in a way, and that's probably the biggest negative. Because it's moments of, okay, you're playing a horror game. Here's you playing a horror game, right? And it's that weird sort of thing. It's like, just, damn, I love this game. I love the story of this game so damn much. It's so interesting to talk about, so interesting to think about, and it's one of the few games I've played that has left like an emotional impact on me, right? Because it's made me, ironically, it's made me feel more human, if you know what I mean. Like accepting things in real life, and accepting shifts in your reality in real life. Like this game's made me feel more human because of everything I've experienced while playing it, and it's a shame that at the time that I'm doing this, there was nobody in chat. Big sad. But just thinking over everything that this game kind of has within it, as well as the questions you take away from it, I think is the best part of it. Like, I think the best part of this game is the questions it asks, the answers it suggests, and the open to interpretation nature it is, given the way the endings are sort of sequenced, right? Because you have the sort of sad ending with Simon 3 and Catherine, I guess 2, and they're trapped, right? And Catherine short circuits, and I assume she's gone. That's it. She can't continue from that. And Simon's just alone in the depths, knowing that they succeeded, but knowing he can't continue. So what do? Right? So that's the ending that puts you in a bad state of mind. Then you get the credits, right? When you think the game's over. Then you get the hopeful ending where they're on the Ark. They succeeded. They've done it. They get to live their paradise now. But in the back of their minds, there's always that little feeling, that little nagging thought of, this isn't actually real. And even if we do find some way to create new life forms and repopulate in the simulation, those aren't real either. And there's that looming sort of thought in the back of your head that it's not real, right? And that this isn't the real you. And that this isn't the human you. This isn't the human, like, Catherine. This isn't the human crew. This isn't the human versions of, like, children that you would have had if you actually did get together and have children and propagate and all this. There's so many interesting questions in this game. And it's fucking brilliant. It's just fucking brilliant. And it's, and ironic, and I think the biggest irony of the game, that's kind of a positive irony, is that it's a game questioning humanity and your consciousness and what that means in relation to each other, right? But it's a game that I feel like would make... I feel like Soma is a game that breaks people down to two sort of thought processes, I guess, after you finish the game, right? Because on the one hand, you have people that start diving into the simulation theory and all that other stuff of, like, life's a reality, so if it is a simulation, how can I fuck with it? Or if it's a simulation, then I'm not real, I'm not like a real... all this other shit, right? But then on the other side of it, you have people that really, like, that I feel like I'm on, where it's, you sort of learn to cherish humanity in a deeper respect when you think about the concept of us going digital at some point in the future. And how important that human experience is when you can, when you can go outside and feel the sun on your face, when you run your hand, like, under the water, when someone you love hugs you, when you get, when you I always come back to, like, my son, right? Because he's sort of like, I've never felt as human as I ever was. How do I say this? I've never felt more human than the first time I saw my son be born, and the time that I first held him. And every time I hold him, I feel that humanity again. It's like every time and I feel like humans need that interaction with each other, where when we have those moments of being human and being compassionate and tender and loving towards each other, I feel like is when we feel the most human. You know, and it's that sort of thing where because of that connection you have with another human, that sort of transcends like your senses. You know, it's like your consciousness. It's sort of like where your consciousness and your physicality reach their highest point of connection between the two, right? When you are like, for me, it's that moment like when I hold my child and when he like rests his head on me. That's my absolute peak of what it feels like to me to be human, and have that, you know, have that little human be with me and need me and you know, love me and trust me, and that sort of reciprocal feeling of like we're here together. And I want to cherish every like moment of those things, you know. Like, I feel like this game asks questions that, depending on your personal outlook, in like affects the way you look at humanity, right? And because I am religious, because I believe there is an afterlife, because I believe there is a God, because I believe that there is a better purpose after death, I feel like this game just influences me to be more thankful of the human experience in general on this earth, you know. And it's the thing where I feel like this game could leave you with a lot of questions that make you feel uncomfortable, but on the other hand, it could leave you with a bunch of questions that make you feel interested to see the answers to, without breaking your own sort of like philosophy in a way. You know, it's just interesting. You know, and it's very fitting that Catherine's face is put up here, because she's sort of the most pivotal character in this story. You know, and I'd say probably one of, if not the most interesting. Simon Jarrett has the most interesting story in the game, like in terms of what actually happens to him. But in terms of like someone I'd like to have a conversation with about after the whole process, like if I was in the ARK and I had to sit down with anybody in the game, I'd sit down with Simon, but I would really want to sit down with Catherine and just have a discussion about just everything, just because of how like interesting this shit is. But yeah, that's the end of Soma. So we're here, and that's that. And I'm gonna have to wrap up this stream now. So just thank you all for being here. If you were watching and didn't say anything in the chat, if you watched the re-upload, thank you for watching as well. And yeah, I will. Let me see. Next Saturday, there should be an ESAS. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if I'm going to react to something, or if I don't know if I'm just going to chill with a video game and just hang out for a little while. Just because I'm not going to be available a Saturday after that. So I'm not sure how we're going to do things next Saturday, but we'll see. I thought about playing Helldivers just to have some fun. But we'll see what happens. But we'll have to see what happens when we get there. So thank you all for being here, whether watching it live or watching the re-upload. And yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and I hope you cherish your humanity. I hope you cherish all those moments that make you feel alive. And so yeah, just God bless, and hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend.